Hey guys, this is Tom from Renaissance Digital, and today we're going to be talking about the Meike 25mm 2.1 Super 35 cinema lens. First impressions picking up this lens, it's a little hefty. Compared to a lot of lenses, it's lightweight, but if you're coming from still lenses, it's got a little bit of weight to it. It's fairly compact, very smooth gears. You get the 270-degree focus throw. That is a big benefit for getting precise focus. I've been very used to using still lenses to pull focus, and they're usually 80s manual lenses, so you do have some natural focus capabilities. It's not like a fly-by-wire still lens, but compared to this, there's a huge difference, and it's one of the reasons I'm going to be keeping these is due to the longer focus throw and the great benefit that has to crew work, and even just pulling focus yourself, if you want to be precise, makes a big difference. So why might you get these lenses? Well, maybe you want the focus gears, maybe you want the longer focus throw, maybe you want something that is just more professional to work with in general. Maybe you want PL mount. It's a big reason why I purchased this lens was for the PL mount. It's much more convenient to use PL on the Alexa than EF. Some cameras only take PL. This could be an affordable option. It is the most affordable PL lens you can get. You can convert some vintage lenses, but trying to get a set that matches well and is easy to use, that's a different story. This is really your mostly only option for something affordable. Now, how do these stack up against the Vespids or the Irix? Those are kind of the next in line in terms of price. I really don't think there's a difference. I think these perform just as well. They're pretty much copies of their full frame version, which are priced around the same as the Vespids and the Irix. Now, will these work on full frame sensors? 35mm sort of does. There's a little bit of vignette. It's pretty subtle. I think you could get away with it. The 50-75 definitely fully cover. The 25 does not. It vignettes sort of severely. It's not like crazy. You could crop it out if you're shooting 4K or 6K, or I mean even 2K. But of course now you're losing your frame. Now it's no longer like 25. It's going to be longer. So yeah, it's probably not the best lens to get if you're shooting full frame. Now they will cover like the Epic Dragon sensor, which is larger than Super 35. So it's a great lens set for a lot of different cameras. And of course, with full frame cameras, many of them have Super 35 options or punching in options like on most Reds. So it really will fit a lot of camera setups. Also, if you're getting an older camera that only has a PL mount, like maybe the Sony f35, this is a great option. And most of those cameras are Super 35. It actually just occurred to me, I've wanted an f35 for a while and was always like, well, I don't have PL lenses for it, but now I do. So here's some footage from Easter with my family. Some tests in different lighting conditions, just kind of, handheld on the Arri Alexa. let's look at some practical things that might concern you buying this set. Chromatic aberration, sharpness at different apertures, and lens breathing. Now, this isn't the most like scientific or best lens breathing test, but you can see it's pretty well controlled. I don't think it's perfect, but it's pretty well controlled. Here's some chromatic aberration tests. I tried to shoot in high contrast situations, wide open, to bring out the aberrations. I think you can observe it's pretty well controlled. I don't even see any aberrations at all. Let's look at sharpness, wide open, and then at T4 and T8, as well as corner sharpness. I kind of conclude from these tests that it's pretty consistent across the entire range. Yes, the corners get a little sharper as you stop down. Yes, the center, I would say, is sharper at T4 than wide open. I'm not seeing much more increased sharpness at T8. Wide open, it's a very subtle difference. It's very close, very respectable. I would say there's a subtle softness across the range at all apertures on this lens and all the lenses. It's somewhat soft, but it's not like vintagey soft where it's like glowy and just kind of crazy looking. It's a subtle softness that's kind of present at all the apertures. It's quite nice and consistent, which I think is a huge part of what you want in cinema lenses is consistency. Let's look at some flaring. How do these lenses flare? To me, it's a very neutral flare. There's not much to it. There's not a ton of orbs. There's not a ton of color in the flaring. It's pretty subtle. It can be great for if you don't want much flaring. I would say I love crazy flaring, like blue and, rainbow. You don't get that with this, and I was somewhat disappointed. But to be fair, flaring isn't something you can get rid of if it's present, so maybe it's better not to have it. I kind of want to experiment to see if I can kind of create a filter that might give me some unique lens flares, maybe getting an old projector lens and gluing it to a 77mm front filter and kind of, playing around with that, see if I can get something cool from that. Because I really do like the build of these lenses over using vintage EF converted glass. It's just not convenient to use on quick pace shoots. I purchased the 25mm directly from Meike. They didn't seem to be available on B&H or Adorama or anywhere. I mean, I think this lens really was just released. They were nice enough to expedite it for me because I told them I was going to give them a review for it or make a review, send it to them. So that is something I will do. It's not going to affect my opinion of the lens. There's just honestly not much bad things to say about this lens. It's very well built. It's very affordable. And what's not to like? It's great. It's a great value. I would definitely recommend getting this lens and the entire set if you're looking for a cinema build lens, especially PL. And of course, if it's something you need, if you don't need it, don't buy it. Don't fall into consumerism and buying something just because it's labeled Cine, right? Use what works for you. Use what you have, what you can afford. There's so many good options we have now for making films. Yeah, guys, pretty quick review. I'm gonna do one of the whole set, maybe compare them to the Vespids, to the Zeiss. Yeah, my overall opinion now is I don't think there's much reason to buy, let's say, Vespids or Irix, unless you need full frame. I just don't think you'll see a jump in quality until you get up to like Sigma or Zeiss, right? Not that those other lenses, they have a different look, but these are a really good option. Don't be afraid just because they're cheap. They're quite exceptional, surprisingly. Anyways, guys, I'm hoping you're having a good, productive year. And if not, I hope it gets better. Let's make some creative stuff. Let's make some art. Let's express ourselves. And let's see you in the next video. Peace out.